G'day everyone, Calvin here, Shedding Sheep New Zealand. It's that time of the year when the Kuiti sheep shedding sale is on again. I'd like to say it's a female only sale, but it's not. There are a few rams. We're going to go check out some animals. I've got some animals to check out that came from the South Island. I want to have a look at those. We might try something different and see if we can talk to some people, try and convince some farmers to chat on camera about their shedding sheep experience.
Can do some unspeakable things to get them into this pen.
Oh, I think it's the first pen you got. Question.
Yeah. No,
are they as good as last year's? Is your first pen?
Yeah.
As good as?
But no, they start over there, so that's not the first pen.
Oh, they're starting that end.
Yeah. So
are
I
they?
obviously didn't do enough.
Because last year they started up here, eh?
Oh, well, I don't know.
They started there last year and they went down there.
Oh.
And then they came back, but there's nothing in these pens.
Well, I don't know. I hope they don't stay there, because the first pen's always the cheapest, isn't it?
Right. A man came to me this morning and said he was here because he watched my video last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he needs a few sheep, and I reckon this is going to be his pen actually.
Some bloody good framed sheep in here.
Why aren't these ones with those ones?
Because they haven't got tails. That's the only difference.
So these are the docked ones. That
Yeah.
is any bit as good as those ones, but they don't have tails.
That's
These
right.
ones have been docked.
Yeah.
Why do you dock some and not dock others?
Well, I just happened to have two blocks, one across the road and one on the home side.
Yes.
And one block I docked because I was going to keep them, and the other block I didn't dock. No, the other way around. I didn't dock those ones, I was going to keep them, and I docked these and I was going to sell them. So then I thought, I might as well sell some of those as well.
Right.
Yeah, so, but there was no real reason. No major
Same.
reason. But these are also from different rams,
Yes.
too. Those are Arvidssons, and these are a local woman who's a vet who breeds them, Anna Martin.
Be Anna,
Yes.
the one I did a video with.
Yes.
That one?
Did you do a video with her? How the fuck did you know? You know everything about this. It's like, I can't get anything around you, can I? Eh? When did you do that? Are you like the Wiltshire blogger now?
I am. It does appear to be.
Oh,
yeah.
It's actually a niche market. It's a
I
good
know.
idea.
There's no one else doing it.
Yeah, and you do have a good eye for them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Even if I do insult the sellers.
You do. I thought that was quite good, actually.
I didn't know they were yours.
I know. I was talking about it. Sure.
Go along, we'll
Told you they started over here, eh?
Yes, you were right.
Providing we are not left just with a handful,
Right, most of the time.
we will sell run-outs to accommodate everybody.
I want 3 of them. Run out of 3. They said to do a run out. I want a run out of 3.
4-year-olds. We finish the top row
that,
with some
try that.
5-year-olds. We duck over there, we start the second run, and they're just basically the smaller numbers. Clear as mud, eh? Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make a start on account of David Richardson here. Out of pen 168, we've got 87 of the magnificent tudus they are. Have a look at them in here. $185. Bidding, $185. Boys, 185. Now I know what we were selling these things for 12 months ago, and the job's not that bad. 185, 185, 90, 90, 11, 90 out here. Bid 235. Bidding 2, 3, 5. Boys.
Are you scared of cameras?
Yeah, I'm scared of cameras and short people.
I'd be scared of short people and cameras too.
Like women of mice.
You're down on last year, eh?
Oh,
Did you sell some good sheep last year, but this year?
we sold shitty sheep. Is that what you're saying?
No, you sold.
No, the sheep are good.
Last year you.
Those ewes, we didn't wean them till the 20th of January, so they're
Yeah, but last year by comparison you were getting 360.
the sheep
This year.
are better this year.
And this year you're struggling to get over $200.
No,
It's 15 years of breeding in them,
it's just. I think it's just a reflection of the whole sheep thing at the moment.
and their atmosphere not having any wet stuff coming down.
Yeah, I think it's just a cycle that the whole thing's going to go through and it'll come again. You know.
Yeah.
That's my gut feeling.
So at Otingiwai, because somewhere in there you had some Dharma in there, because you get the old tassels on
I
them,
have. They'd be like 12%,
Yeah.
12.5%.
and it still pops back. Yeah.
That's all we kind of want when we put a bit of outcross in there.
Yeah.
The reason being to protect the eczema.
Yeah.
You know, we can't put outcross sheep in there because none of them have got any eczema tolerance, and we've got eczema tolerance in our sheep, so we want to protect that.
Where'd you get your ram from?
Get the what?
Where have your rams been coming from?
We're breeding with our own breeding
You got it.
program.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a pretty diverse sort of genetic deal going on with our sheep now, so we don't.
So you're close.
The only sheep that we'll bring in now will be extra tolerant sheep. Yeah, I don't. I've got no fixed kind of sort of thing with that on.
Oh, yeah.
Just cruise along now.
What goes, what works, just keep.
What works? So we've got 3,000 ewes. We lamb all the hoggets, 90% on the hoggets.
Yep.
And so we've got quite a diverse genetic base there, with a bit of outcross and stuff in there. So, as I say, we don't want to inject any sort of too much more Wiltshire into them for a while. But if it comes to putting more Wiltshire into them, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, right.
Because they're the only sort of tested sheep around, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. So you've put together your own kind of composite setup of animal.
Yeah.
And then you've seen demand. Well, I talked to Mike, your neighbour.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah, he's good friends.
And then there was another neighbour who had sheep there as well.
So what that Damaris thing, that's only a small.
Yeah, there's obviously other stuff in it.
We only want a small, like those Damaris, they're shocking meat sheep, but they've got really good maternal traits.
Yeah.
And they're really nice to work with dogs and stuff like that. They're really responsive to dogs, and they shed reasonably well, and they cross a lot better than what you might think.
Yeah.
So we're only like ever put like 12% of anything into our sheep.
Yeah.
So that's how I work.
That's why your sheep look a little bit different to others.
Correct.
And they're quite a tall, they're a bigger frame sheep.
A bit more frame, a bit more length.
Yeah.
You get good lamb weights and that, you know. No, I don't like.
You've sold a lot of rams this year.
Probably sold 50 rams, 60 rams.
60 rams.
No, or just because people,
just
we're reasonably priced, I suppose.
So,
and we like the guys that want 15 or 20 rams to breed their sheep out, you know. So they can see that we're doing the commercial thing with our sheep, and we just run on that. Our selection and everything's based on our commercial sheep and the results we're getting there.
But you've selected some good ram lambs that you feel are suitable for moving forward. You have a bit of a culling process.
Yeah. So
something that you would use yourself.
So we just like the Wiltshire thing is like a very tight genetic thing, and we don't think we can go. We don't think you can make any progress with those sheep because they're too closely bred, and it's going to take too long to actually change them. Yep. That's mine.
Well, when do you normally send lambs off?
Well, we send a lot of lambs. Got 800 lambs going this week. Maybe 20 kilo.
Yeah. It's February.
Done like 20
kilo. When are you normally lambing though?
We lamb about, I suppose, the mean lambing average would be like the 1st of September or 10th of September or something.
Yeah, so you're a little bit later.
Yeah, we're later, and we leave the lambs on to try and control the feed later.
Yeah, so you're a
January when?
January's the first lot of lambs leaving the property then. Not December like a lot of guys that lamb in August because you're a month later, so you're just a month later.
That's right. So we give them one, they've only had one drench till then. When you drench, second drench.
3,000 ewes is still a good number.
We lamb all the hoggets. We get 90% lambing out of our hoggets.
Yeah.
A lot of these smaller ewe lambs here, people say they sell them for $120. Well, they're either a hogget or a multiple.
And they're late born.
Or a triplet.
And late born. I can see it.
Hogget or a multiple or a triplet. So, you know,
this is where people get it wrong, where they come in and they buy the biggest. And
we're just commercial guys that we just stick our head out the window in the morning and select sheep kind of thing.
But you know,
we don't go with a lot of this.
Yeah.
We don't go with it either.
Some of those.
We don't take the figures of. We'd challenge a lot of those figures on those sheep.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything except the scientific side of it, which is probably the expert figures are probably the only.
You got to watch not buying smaller lambs because they are often those multiples or late born or out of hogget, so they're a generation better.
So we've taken all the big ewe lambs off before we put these here.
That's right.
So we got 800 best ewe lambs at home. So we want those big.
Yep.
We could put bigger hogget lambs here too, thing, but we want to keep all those lamb growths.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which makes sense. Were you happy enough with your prices you got today?
So, but I knew it was going to be back, but it was back a lot more than what I thought. We were all using $180. They were just a gift.
Yeah, someone's got a steal there. You win with some.
He buys lambs off. He was going to buy some ewe lambs, but he thought, he was probably going to pay that for ewe lambs.
Yeah.
He's done it. Yeah, he's happy.
Yeah, what did you get for your sheep last year?
I think we got 320 on the ewes.
Yeah.
380.
So you average out still pretty good across those 2 years.
Yeah, we've sold sheep here for $450.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah. So you can't
No,
complain.
no, the thing is, the thing is with us is that we're over the line with the sheep. We set out to get a full flock of shedding sheep,
Yes.
and we've achieved that at home. It's just great. It's been the best thing we've done.
Would you go back to wool?
Never ever. Never ever. Just we don't care. We've had years of listening to all that wool stuff, so
Yeah. Yeah.
just can't compete. It's just a different. Can't compete with what we're doing with our sheep.
Yeah. Well, great to chat to you. I'm sure we'll see each other again because I'll be here next year again. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting.
I don't know where you are now.
People won't send their sheep in next year, will they?
Yeah, but that's kind of short-sighted too.
That's how they feel at the moment because they'll have to market their sheep, will they?
And I think that's disappointing actually if they choose not to bring them in.
Yeah. No, it'll all come back around again.
But
I think there's a few guys out there, that have sort of failed with some of the sheep, and the sheep haven't, maybe genetically or whatever, haven't maybe performed like compared to the woolly sheep, and they're a bit disappointed. So some of them, I think there's a bit of that. Which
I agree. But if they buy shit sheep, you've still got a shit sheep. And if you've got very good wool sheep,
yeah, and that's what. So that's what you do when you first start. You keep comparing them to woolly sheep, but we're well and truly over that. So we don't go back. We don't go back to the woolly sheep as a measure now.
yeah, buy better sheep, you get better sheep. Then they compare.
We've got the ability to breed decent sheep, and that's what we'll do.
That's right. That's dead right.
We'll do it the best way we can.
That's dead right. Coming from, if you look at some of the commercial type ewes, and this year the prices are well back.
Yeah.
It's really good buying for those guys that want to buy sheep this year.
Oh,
you can just swap.
Especially those full shedded sheep, and those guys breeding them up.
Oh, I know.
Especially our sheep, because we don't get that. We've been breeding them for that long, and we started with shedding sheep. We didn't breed them up initially, so you don't get that residual 20% scruffy sheep in your lamb crop.
Yeah. It's amazing, eh? I think there's just not enough buyers here. So
It's just the times, no.
Yeah.
It's just the times.
the man across from us,
down on the whole sheep thing.
the man across from you bought some of yours, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He's not a real sheep farmer. He's got kiwi fruit.
Country property. You heard the story, ladies and gentlemen. They've been breeding the Wiltshires for many, many years. And I tell you what, you can see. That is a quality ewe lamb in front of you there, ladies and gentlemen. Opportunity knocks. Money here. Right. Okay, so they stayed in last night, ladies and gentlemen. So they have been in hand for a little bit. So you're seeing them dead empty, but I tell you what, they've still got a bit of bloom and a bit of softness about them. They've got a ton of frame, and you can see the breeding in those ewe lambs there, ladies and gentlemen. You've had them valued up the way they're going to make 200. They should do it on their ear. 190, 180, 170. 170. You must have 60 surely. Will you call your money at 150 and we'll go? 40. All right, good luck to you, Richie. 140, 140. 140, a bit 40 here, bit of 40 now, bit of 140. Let's say, give me some more. Give me some more of those good sheep. 147. Would you square it? 147. 147. Want to be in? All done. At 156. Want to be in? No. All done.
So this man actually walked up to me and said he was here because he saw my video from last year. Did you see it last year or this year? My video.
I saw it this year. I saw it a few days ago.
Got posted up.
Yeah.
And you thought these will be perfect under my kiwi fruit.
Yeah, well, we've been thinking about it for a few years, and we're over in the Bay plenty. There's not too many of them around, and we're just trying to switch out of Perrindale because they're causing us too much work.
It's a good year to come over and buy sheep.
Yeah. Pretty happy with what we got, so see how they go.
What did you buy? You bought some Otangiwai.
We're taking away 4 years.
Yeah. That's only that was the 50 that you bought.
80.
Oh, 80 runoff. Yep.
So we'll see how they go.
Good strong ewes. I talked to Richard.
Yep.
So yeah, you definitely did well there.
Yeah. I quite like your story. I guess you just went with the gut feel, and it sounds like you've been breeding them for a while. So
They're good strong ewes, and they've done it hard up on the hills, and they still look good. So
we haven't got the best feed on the in our gullies. So hill country sheep sound like they should do all right.
that's a perfect buying. I always find buying hard sheep commercial sheep that have worked are way better than buying soft sheep. So you've done well. It's good, and I'm glad I inspire you to come along. Actually,
Well, keep up the good work.
hey, thanks very much. We'll see you again.
Advocating.
Yeah, mate. We'll see you again. I'm going to try and catch up with those not so well shedded ewe lambs at the end there. See what they go for. Take care. Thanks, mate. See again, good looking sheep, but they're not given the best chance when they've got a dirty pen. They may have travelled earlier, and if guys have got a bit of an eye for sheep, these are a compact little ewe. I like that compactness. Hey, miss. Oh, hello. This man is Mr. Gordon. Sold a line of two-tooths over at the beginning of the sale.
Yeah.
And they are quite nice two-tooths, even though you did say that they are the smaller ones.
Yeah, they're basically the twin-born ewe lambs.
Someone's going to be buying the good genetics.
Well, exactly.
They're going to be buying.
So I farm quite a dryish sort of a block on sandstone and siltstone and tie heavy, between 750 and 950 mils of rain per year.
Right, yeah.
And so our autumns, like we're having a caning this autumn,
Yes.
it's getting really dry. So our autumns really dictate lambing percentage the following year.
Yeah.
And it also dictates how big we can grow our sheep out. And because I'm farming Wiltshires, I've always tried to either slaughter or grow out the better genetics for someone else, because they're so, it's a bit of a rarity factor. It's a long, hard road when you're grading up from a crossbred.
Yeah, and that's a big point today. These guys I talked to one guy. He was replacing woolies with shedders.
Yeah.
He can just swap them out.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Exactly.
It's a perfect year.
But even these 5-year-old prices in front of us, these ones that got passed in fielding a month ago, 3 weeks ago, there were crossbreds, good 5-year-old crossbreds that were going for less than that.
Yeah.
Going for around 130. Well, these are going for 130 to 150.
That's right.
And you've saved yourself $15 or so a year just in having different breeds.
And this year's a perfect year for guys to change over.
Yeah.
It's just, we've got not enough grass, and I know the hills are getting very dry.
Yeah.
You guys' hills?
It's looking pretty green up here.
We had a little bit of rain for the last week.
Apparently Tikawiti's having a drought. If this is a drought,
Well,
I could cope.
It rained a little bit in the last week.
Yeah.
And that's just put a green tinge on everything.
Yep.
There's no feed there.
Yeah.
So I think too, also probably not quite enough advertising today. There's not a lot of buyers here. And I thought, but it's going to be interesting to see how the lambs go. I got a feeling.
There's some really good lambs there, actually. Shall we wander around?
Oh, the lambs around here.
Yeah,
There's a pen.
Those ewe lambs. There's some bloody stonking ewe lambs around here.
I'm wondering if the works buyers will be doing them. Will we taking off the bottom end of them?
It would be bloody sad if they went to the works. There's some really good breeding stock over there.
Yeah, but I got a feeling that the works buyers will be picking up a few. Oh, yep. 193. That's up a bit, isn't it? That's going to stop the works buyers.
117, who's going to be 20 here? 117 would have been 2 anywhere, but in quick, wait, sell out, they go at $117. I think we should go on here, fellas. 117, nicely shredded up at about 17, 117 to about 20, 120, 120. What are we doing, Stevie? Yeah. On the market, Grandville brings them here to sell. 121, $121. All done for 121. 121.
This happens to be Otangi Wise, Richard from Otangi Wise neighbour,
Mike Connolly.
Yeah, and Mike, you sold a little line of ewe lambs. They were one of my picks, and your other pick is actually the woolly ones of yours that are well grown.
Yep.
Those were a couple of my picks for good buying because of the size of them.
Yeah.
You happy enough with the sale price?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you've got to remember that half the lambs here are out of my hoggets, so they were born later. So yeah, very happy. Yeah, it's probably similar to works price, I would think. Yeah.
And it's nice to send them off to someone else to be actually used instead of sending them to the works.
Definitely. Yeah, that comes into it. But the other thing is being dry, sort of running out of choices. Really, they had to go. You know, something has to go, and so yeah.
I think compared to last year, the prices are well back, but I think the quality of the main lines are actually well up.
Better, definitely. Better.
So this year people can buy better sheep for less money.
Definitely. Yeah.
And
it's just a breeding thing. I think once more breeding with these Wiltshire, the better they get, more shedding sheep and better size and all that. So we've only been in 5 years. So,
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've got our rams from Richard since day one. So yeah.
Yours aren't quite Wiltshires then, are they? They're a bit of a blend.
No, we started off with purebred Wiltshire ewe hoggets.
Okay, yes.
And put Wiltshire rams over them.
Yeah, but Richard's blended some other stuff into his.
Yeah, he has. Yep.
So.
But we get that through his rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting that
Look,
progeny.
I don't think it matters because they're bloody good looking sheep. Like when you go through and you're like, those are a little bit bigger than anyone else's.
Yeah.
And they might only be 2 kilos.
Yeah.
2 or 3 kilos, but they're definitely a little bit bigger.
They are. Yeah.
You know? I think the ones that have got wool on, people are going to really be scared of.
They will be, yeah.
But in saying that, yours are nice size.
Yeah, so the works will underpin the price anyway. So
Yeah,
I would think they'll be going at around 135 to 140.
I've seen the works buyers and I haven't seen if they've been putting their hand up yet.
They have.
Oh, they have been?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm going to try and catch up with them, see if I can get them to talk on camera. Typical farmers, you guys aren't too good with cameras often.
No, you don't see them very often.
Nah, not really a thing. You know, even these pens in front of us, these are probably hogget lambs. The ones in front of us here, not yours.
Yeah, they could be.
Could well be, and you know, but still sold reasonably well.
Yep, they did.
I thought the price was going to fall out of the lambs, but it's come up okay. You know, it's not so bad. We started at 200, we're down at 145. There's not that big a range.
I think once we get onto the part shedded ones, there'll be a big drop.
Yeah.
It happened last year. It went all right until we got the part shedded, but who knows?
How many sheep are you running, Mike?
We run 1,000 ewes and 300 ewe lambs.
Coming from wool sheep.
Yep. Sold our last to be Romneys ewes this year, and all Wiltshire now.
Would you go back?
No way, never go back. Yeah, it's not just a wool thing; it's so many other things into it, and it's. Person my age at 67, it's like instead of retiring, you get into Wiltshires.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
that's a good option. Yep.
Less dagging, less crutching, less chemicals, less everything. Better weights.
Can't complain.
No.
Money in the bank.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
In the bank.
Right. Hey, thanks so much for chatting.
That's
I'm sure we'll catch up again.
We will. Yeah, I'll have a look at you on YouTube.
That's it.
I know.
Yeah, mate. Fantastic. Catch you later.
See ya.
Right, so these lambs are brought all the way from the South Island. They're in a clean pen, which is nice. We've had a bit of rain in the last day or so, and I had a shower coming down, so some of the sheep aren't looking quite as well presented as normal, just because they're you know, a little bit damp. And these guys have been in a damp truck this morning. It's a nice even line, lovely lambs. 124 in the line. Average birth date is about the 12th of September. I probably should have actually looked on my message, but around about then. Using Arvidsson rams for the last, since 2016, and running shedding sheep for 20 years.
Yeah, sure.
I convinced someone else to talk to me, and it turns out that I was flipping rams for Hamish's dad down at the Southern Shedding Sale.
Yes.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And then I convinced, I facilitated buying of a couple more outside of the sale because they were left over.
Yeah, so we ended up with 3 total, so we're
That's
happy
good.
with that.
And you've been here buying on behalf of something. You'll
Yep, yeah, I've got a chap, Nick, here with me today, and we've been here. We've got 2 pens of Tudus and a pen of ewe lambs.
So you got Dave's first pen, some of the remainder of them,
Yes.
because there was a run-off of that first pen.
Yes.
I've talked to Dave.
Yep.
I've been catching up with Dave for years. A lot of sales, I sit down with Dave and have a chat, you see.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he's got good sheep and he's bought good rams.
Yeah, they were very, very exceptional sheep. Yeah.
Yep. And then you bought some of Ed's out of another pen.
Yes.
So is he changing over from Wiltshire, from Woolies to Wiltshires?
Yeah, he's gone from Cootworths to Wiltshires, so we've got some ewe lambs for him, and he just wanted some older sheep today, some Tudus to help speed up the process. So we've got those, and it was just opportunistic with these ewe lambs that we got, the last pen of ewe lambs we got.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It's perfect year for buying Wiltshire genetics
Yes.
because the prices are well back.
Yes.
As you were saying, you know, we're in the woolly lines here. The woolly lines are selling now. and they're pretty much going store price, works price.
Yep.
And I think that's actually really good for the industry.
Yes. Yep.
Because it means that buyers aren't prepared to take or pay too much for poor quality animals.
Yep. I'd agree with you there.
But some of these aren't actually that bad. You put a good ram across them, and a lot of these will be later born.
Yes.
Some of them are very well grown.
Yep.
So there are certainly some benefits to buying some of the cheaper animals.
Yep.
It's certainly you're 75% of the way along compared to breeding over, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I do agree. It's they're not fetching a premium for the lower quality sheep, and I think that's about fair and where it should be.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, that's right. So you're buying. It was Nick you're buying for?
Yeah, Nick. Yep.
I'm trying to remember names.
Yes.
Where's Nick farming?
Nick farms just north of Wairau.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. That's you're well. You've had the big trip down.
Yes. Yeah. I've come from Hastings. He's come down from Wairau, and we've come up this morning. So we've had a good run actually. A good trip across.
Why the choice to come to Tigre here today?
The tallies, just the 5,000 was sort of what drew us to it. The bigger tallies, we thought there'd be good opportunities there. And I mean, you know, Te Kuiti's renowned for having the Wiltshires and having the sale, so that was another factor that sort of brought us across as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, there's the sale's actually gone really well. They're moving through the sheep fast because they put a lot more of the big pens. I think last year they had a lot of, small pens, small sellers.
Yep.
I've sort of condensed it as far as the sellers that are coming on.
Yes.
You've got the big pallet tallies. We know we've got 300 lines, 300 and some lines.
Yep.
Lots of 100 lines.
Yep.
Which makes the sale go a lot quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's good too. Those bigger lines are selling runouts, so it works for both ways. At least you get an opportunity. If you can't take the whole lot, you can still have a go at them.
Yeah. So are you actually a stock agent?
Yeah, I'm with Regional Livestock.
You are with stock. Yep. So, and you're doing your job. You've come with a client.
Yes, to buy sheep. Yep.
That's you guide them, and it's you do the bidding.
Yep. No, it's been a good day, good successful day. We're happy with what we've got and the prices we've had to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, great to chat.
Yeah,
we'll see you again.
Calvin.
Thanks, mate. Sure, we'll talk again.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to catch up.
We will see you around.
You'll always get a few sheep like that out of a mob, out of a bigger flock. And often you put a bit of feed into that sort of sheep, they'll do bloody well. Ed Torrent, 36 2 ewes. I reckon they're going to be pretty good, your sheep as well. I found a woman who was meant to find me, actually, Claire. So this is Claire from Belmont Wiltshires, and she's quite new on the Facebook page. How long have you had Wiltshires?
14 years we've had Wiltshires.
And you've just started a Facebook page?
Yes.
Just to say, well, we'll do this now.
Yes, so come and follow my page, please.
Right. And you've got some sheep here today?
Yep.
You had lambs?
Yep.
Did you have any oldie sheep?
No, so at this sale we just sell ewe lambs, but off farm we sell ran lambs direct to customer.
Okay. And you're happy enough with your first lots of ewe lambs?
Yeah, I'm really happy. We got really good prices, so it's good to see. There's been quite a few buyers at the sale and some good prices coming out, so it's going really well.
Yep. And you've got some ewe lambs in this line down here, haven't you?
No, they were the first couple of
the first couple.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yep. And compared to last year the prices were well above what they are this year. Do you feel this year's a better reflection and is better for the Wiltshires in general? So more affordable for people to get into them?
Yeah, and I think it's getting more popular too. So obviously some supply and demand, things like that. But yeah, there is some good prices, but also the works prices are high, which always lifts the prices and things like that. So that helps as well.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good reflection of the sheep. I think this year with the bigger lines has helped.
Yeah.
And certainly the overall quality. So how many Wiltshires are you running after 14 years? How many are on the farm?
Well, we don't have as many as we used to be, just because we've sort of been, generational, passing on to other family members.
Yep.
But we've now got around about 800 ewes, so over 1,000 lambs in total.
800 ewes, over 1,000 lambs.
Yeah.
And whereabouts are you farming?
So in Otangiwai,
okay.
Out back in the King Country.
Yep. And what's the grass down there at the moment?
I guess it is starting to get a bit dry, but we're holding quite a bit of grass and still got a bit of clover, so I think that's why we've got quite good weights today comparatively, as we do have a bit of a lower stocking rate, so we can really look after them and get some really good weights. So we managed to send some straight off the ewes at weaning that we hadn't committed to the works just because the weights were so good. But yeah, we're holding some pretty good grass, so we've actually probably found we're a bit more of an advantage with the sale being quite late this year and us holding good grass.
Yeah, and I think the buyers certainly are willing to pay that few dollars more for better quality animals.
Yeah.
And that's really good for the sale as well.
Yeah.
The price at the end here are pretty much store price or below even.
Yes.
So overall, I think it's been a really, really good result.
Yeah.
Not as many buyers. I would hope the buyer field there is pretty low now.
Yeah. Getting down a bit now.
So people need to get on Facebook and find your page.
Yes.
If they're into Wiltshires.
Yep.
And I'll keep doing what I do. And now you know I've got a shedding sheep channel as well. And I'm sure we'll keep in touch.
Be sure to tune in. Thank you for your time.
And no problem.
Look, go, mate.
Righto, down the way, ladies and gentlemen. 171 on account of the Fagan Enterprises this time off that Waitangaroo Hill country, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see there, they've scanned 174% using the Otangi wire rams. That's a neat and tidy sort of a two-tooth in today. Big soft body two-tooth there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't need me to tell you that. Nicely shed up and ready to go. Turn them out and make your money. Money on them, ladies and gentlemen. I would have thought they'd be 200 or better, but it's your day today. Who's got 190? 175. 175, but it's 75, but it's 75. Hey, now it's time to get down to business. 190, I'll take it easy, 2 and a 3. Can't be fairer than that. 190, bits direct here. 190, 190. Now we're going to sell away, fellas. On the market, 190, you're bidden by, looking for an easy 2. 190, bidding quick, 2. 195 at $200, all done. 200.
Should take my hat off.
I'm going to take my hat off actually. I don't really mind if your hat's off. The light isn't great anyway in here, so it doesn't actually really matter, does it? But it'd be nice to have
Too bright outside anyway.
Yeah,
it's glary outside.
And it's too hot to be outside after you've been in the sun selling sheep.
You're not wrong there. Bloody hot, all right.
How about we make it really easy? This is Kevin Mortensen, kindly known as Morty. You were selling lots of sheep today.
The tiggery sales, stinking hot.
And I think we can probably call it the premier ewe sale or premier female Wiltshires.
Well, excuse me, sorry about that, mate. Yeah, well, I suppose we can sort of say that because it's sort of built up over a number of years, haven't we? Sort of what we've had with clearing sales and what have you, going back probably 5, 6, if not 7 years ago, and it sort of just carried on from there as an annual event, and it's sort of grown, and people are sort of sending them from far and wide, as in South Island, like they did today, and bringing them to Kuiti as a central selling centre, really. And how about we keep it real simple and you give us a bit of a market report, bit of an overview in a couple of minutes, eh? Well, like I say, there's a bit of all sorts here today as far as produce right through to mixed stage, through to some very, very good lineup of ewe lambs, I feel. The lambs and the quality over the years is no doubt getting better.
I agree.
And, there's getting more and more of them out of there and more people are sort of getting wising up to the genetics. And the faults that were there probably 4 or 5 years ago, definitely not there now. As you can see there today, there's lambs here, ewe lambs you could have purchased and sent to anybody. There's no faults in them whatsoever. Well grown, getting the FE resistance, getting everything else about them, So they're pretty good in that respect. And the ewes, like I say, some pretty good handy two-tooth ewes. With the better end of them today, making just on $235 here. But in the main, I think we average knocking on $200 for our two-tooths here today is the self-cheaters. But the job is probably getting a little bit harder to get the top dollar like we saw 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. The job is diluted, of course.
Yes.
But good sheep, like no matter what the breed, good sheep will always sell well. And as long as the feet are good and everything's sound, everything will always sell well. Mm.
I think definitely compared to last year, we saw an easing of the prices.
Definitely.
And the sheep are definitely better quality.
Yeah, right.
And is that a reflection of the market of where we're going?
I think so. Like I say, there's more and more of them out there, isn't there? And there's more to choose from.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of people sitting on the fence. Is this the right move? Are we going the right way or whatever? Still, some people are thinking about it, but haven't jumped over to that side yet. So it's one of those things. Either you like them or you don't. And I just think there's a room there in the market for good quality, good genetics, and they'll get well rewarded.
Yeah.
And like today, as you notice, there was no half breeds or anything like that. They were all basically all full shedders. And to be fair, we probably struggled at the back end of the sale with some of those full shedding ewe lambs. But it's just there was a lot of ewe lambs there, probably too many for what was required. But all of them were full self shedding.
The ewe lambs at the end, which were a little bit woolly. Some of them were because they were late born.
Correct.
Are you willing to comment of whether there were some works buyers taking some of the, or there were some finishes?
Not so much of the work. There'd be some finishes at the bottom end there. We're buying them as a store lamb because it has proven too also that some of these finishes that have purchased Wiltshires or self-shedding sheep have had very, very, very good results out of them. They're as good as a terminal. And a lot of people are saying, and they're getting good weights, getting good yields. So they're sort of looking at them as a fattening sort of a lamb, not just as a breeding, as far as the ewe lambs are concerned. Yeah.
And the costing of those lambs. So you're not going to have to shear them going into the winter if they're a little bit smaller.
Correct.
So there's
and you see health is not as much. The work involved is not as much. Put them out, grow them out, and put them on a truck and kill them.
And you give different land use because you don't have to have a wool shed.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So I see that as well. And in fact, I don't have a problem with some of those tail end ewe lambs going for that market. I think it's great.
And to be fair, some of those tail end ewe lambs going to that market is better than what we have seen in the store market of late, due to the dry conditions and whatnot. So they were actually probably sought after a little bit more there today. Yeah. Those ewe lambs versus some of the other traditional type sheep that we're trying to sell at a similar way.
Yeah, so I can't comment with regard to wool sales because I don't go to woolly sales. I come to this one. I'm going to another ewe fair next week.
Okay.
The one down in the Manawatu.
Yep.
So see what it's like because there happens to be a ram sale on the same day, so I'm down there. You see. Okay. But nowhere near the numbers you get up here.
No.
And I think we're probably, if we compared wool sheep today against today, they were actually cheaper sheep now. That's right. You're probably not quite getting a premium for the shedding unless they were exceptional tooths, but you get good money for wool tooths too.
You do. The sheep market in general is the numbers aren't there. No matter what the breed is, the numbers are gone. And it sort of goes to show the quality of the outing that we perhaps had here today. Buys from Gisborne, Hawke's Bay, Manawatu, Rarahi, local up north. So we had a good bench of buyers. It wasn't a big crowd, but the people were there for the right reason and they knew what they wanted. Definitely knew what they wanted.
Yeah, really happy. It was a fantastic day.
No, it was a good day. Like stinking hot. I like to see things a little bit cooler. I like to see a bit more grass around the place. But it is the 20th of February.
Now, I don't know if you want to answer this question, and I might edit it out. But there was no bidder. I've had many people ask me why no bidder. What's the deal?
The bidder reason what I was trying to do. We could have had bidder here. I was trying to get as a good opportunity. I feel bidder has its place. There's no doubt about that. But it's still good to try and get some buyers to talk to the breeders.
Yep, okay.
That is right. Ram sales and all that is fine, but to talk about what sort of hill country and for the opportunity for buyers to actually talk to the actual farmers and not just farmer, but farmers.
Correct.
A good opportunity to actually get in their ear and perhaps get a bit more of a relationship forming.
Yep.
Whereas bidder's very good. Don't worry, I'm 100%, 120% behind bidder. But we do lose that personal touch to a point.
Okay.
That is why.
Cool. And for me, going through and looking at animals, so I have to go through and making choices. So I know Dave, first pen of Tutus, nice pen of Tutus. He had a line of Tutus in the second cut and the second tier, second run.
That's right.
They were just as good as the first one.
Probably better.
The only difference was there was a different ram.
That's right.
And one were docked, some were docked and some weren't docked.
That's right.
That was the difference.
Correct.
So if you are here and can talk to that breeder and say, well, what's the difference between them?
Yeah. And there's two different breeders. Like there was Arvidsson sort of on one side and versus Wiltshire on the other.
Yep.
And that was the reason. And you get a better look looking at them live than what you would through a camera.
Yep. And then
there was a difference.
Talking to Richard from Otangiwai,
that's right.
I already knew his sheep were good because I've been coming here for years.
Correct.
We got Ed Tarrant with his ones, and you're like, never seen him before, never seen a sheep before. Right? Look at his top ones and they're good. Go to see his bottom end, you can see that they're younger and they're structurally very good sheep.
Exactly. And it was just the weight. It was just the weight on them, to be fair. And it was just, like you say, an age thing, really, to be fair. That's what it was.
I didn't get a chance to chat with him today.
Yeah.
There's only so many so much time in a day.
Yeah.
But from that point of view, and talking to the breeder, what sort of farm they're running on, where they're running,
and we're losing a lot of that personal touch. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely a place for bidder, but I just thought, right, let's take the bull by the horns and just we'll see how it goes as far as getting people in the car to come over and actually physically looking at the market. I don't know, we missed out on a hell of a lot, really. Okay. They sold pretty well out there today.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing, and I'm going to tell you off, I offered to do a video, promote your sale. Yep. I want you to do well. Yep. So next year,
yeah, we can do something prior to it.
Let's do something prior. I'll edit something up and we'll do something to try and get some more buyers here.
Yeah, we can do that.
And that'll help.
Yeah, it's a hard one because no matter when we go and what dates we choose, it's not gonna please everybody. But you know, we always were middle of February.
Yep.
And last year was an exception due to a farm sale and things like that. So that's why we come forward a little bit. But when do you go? You know, a lot of these self shedders are saying you've got to go middle of February, give the sheep a chance to fully shed, so you know exactly what you're buying.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I think middle of February is as good a time as any. Seems to work.
Yep. And
everybody's sorted out what they want. They've got rid of whatever cows they want, and they're sort of able to replace.
Yep. So when you have a date, I'll put something together.
Won't be a problem.
We'll try and get some more buyers here, get the sellers here, and I actually like the format with, and I don't want to knock the little guys.
Yeah.
But the format with bigger pens is what the buyers wanted.
To be fair, that's how they were penned up, basically on utilising the numbers of sheep to the pen sizes to a point.
And you absolutely, you got it, and they were, the guys at one of the big pens,
they had the opportunity.
Got it.
Yeah.
You had runoffs on a few pens.
And that was dead right, and there was still good sheep in smaller numbers on the other side, so it catered for everybody.
Absolutely.
And the prices wasn't any different,
Correct.
from one side to the other. So you got to accommodate and pen them up so that you can show them off best, can't you?
Yep.
And putting 10 sheep in a big pen.
Yeah, and I don't think the old dry conditions helped at all.
Definitely not. No, definitely not. No.
It's still a great result.
We got away with it, and like I say, everybody seemed pretty happy. And I was a little bit disappointed in what it was this time last year, but it's just the way it is. It's the reality of the market at the moment, and the numbers that are out and available.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for your time.
No problem. Yep,
Thank you.
Okay,
Awesome, mate. Wait, you can't run away.
Take that.
Need that.
Take my phone. Good, let's go.
Thanks, mate.
$29. 129. Round it. 129. Bidding. 129. I'll let you know, Glenn. Should be right.
129.